So once you get the tire off, all you're going to want to do is begin by removing your caliper. I like to compress mine before I take it off, because we're also going to be doing brakes as well. So then the caliper is compressed. These are just 214s. So you just want to pop those two off. Set those off to the side. And now our caliper's off. So now we're going to take off the pads. So we're going to lubricate everything with penetrating oil. And we're going to give that a couple minutes and then we'll begin taking everything apart. So to begin, we're just going to want to take out our top bolt. This top bolt is pretty messed up. The bottom bolt our sockets fit on. But for this, we had to use this setup. They're both 18s, but I don't have an 18 wrench. And I needed to use a 3/8 socket because it was 6-point. I needed a better grip on it. So we'll just take that out now. As you can see, it's coming out. Alright, so we got our top one out. Now we'll remove our bottom one. And our bottom one is going to be a 17 and a 17, so let me grab a wrench. So put the wrench on. And it came off like that. We got our two nuts and our two bolts. We're going to set them to the side. The top one. Pull out. Now we're just going to remove our axle nut. First you got to take off this cotter pin, but I need a pair of pliers. Just use this pair of needle nose. Pull out the cotter pin. Now I'll go grab the socket and we'll remove the axle nut. We're just going to use a 32 and remove our axle nut. And behind the axle nut was this big washer, so don't lose him. So now I'm just going to spray into the axle hole and push the axle a little bit. Alright, so now the axle is good and free. Take your screwdriver or your pry bar and pry the knuckle off there. And then all we're going to want to do is just pull our axle out. There we go. So now we've got our axle out. Now we just gotta pop it out from underneath. You just gotta pop the other side out. And now we're just gonna put a pry bar behind the axle. Just try to push him out. Like that. And then once you got him popped out, push him the rest of the way off. And now he's out of the transmission. And then once he's out of the transmission, all we gotta do is pull him out now. Straight up. As you can see, the boot is all torn, and that's why we're replacing him today. He's making noise. So now we're going to take our new axle and we're going to fit him in there, and we're going to get the threads lined up like that. And once he's started, screw your nut back on. We got a remanufactured axle, so ours didn't come with a new nut. That's why we're using this one. And now that it's in there, make your axle level and tap the axle until it bottoms out. See how I hit it a couple times and it didn't move, but then eventually it went in? You don't want to hit it hard and mushroom this out or break the transmission, but just taps will get it in there. And then never trust just that. Always don't be lazy. Climb back under and make sure it went all the way through. Because if that's not in there and it spins and the axle's not in, you'll break the transmission. And I'm pretty sure none of you want to do that. So now that he's in, we're just going to put everything back together. So we're just going to want to take a little bit of, this is just normal grease, and just put the grease where the axle is going to go in. So next time, if anyone ever does go to change this, it'll come out for them. So now we're just going to reinsert our axle back into the knuckle and push our knuckle back into the shock. And if you remember, this weird bolt went on the top and our other bolt went on the bottom. So you gotta shake it around and play with it a little bit and it'll go. But if it doesn't want to go, you'll have to get a small screwdriver. In this case, I got a flathead, and just put him in the side of the hole. You are not putting the bolt in. Lift up and jiggle it so it aligns, and then it'll allow you to slide your bolt through. You can give them some taps, send them in there. And then if you remember this bolt, it actually went through this way, this bolt. So same thing, if he doesn't line up, just move the hole with a screwdriver and it'll go in. Now we're going to put our two nuts back on. And now we're just going to want to tighten up those two screws. So there's that one. And then if you remember, this top one is a little bit weird, and we got to tighten him with the regular ratchet. What? Maybe it was this side. No. Unless I changed the socket. Oh yeah, I changed the socket. Alright, so now we got the correct socket. So now we will tighten up our adjustable. This shouldn't really be this hard, but someone has actually changed this bolt. This isn't an original bolt, so someone's been in here before. So there we go. Both of them are tight. Now you can reinstall your washer and your nut. Don't worry about the rotor being off, because we took that off because we're doing pads and rotors at the same time. So on yours you'll have the rotor and the caliper bracket still here. So now that you got that on, you're going to want to tighten it. So now we got a new cotter pin. This is way beefier than the old one. The old one someone put in was not substantial at all. So we got our new one. You just want to take some pliers, bend the little tabs like so, and that's not going anywhere. New brakes and rotors. Alright, so you guys are still going to have this and the caliper bracket with your pads still on your car. So all you have to do would be to rehook your axle. Or your caliper, I'm sorry, not axle. So we're just going to thread our two. Alright, so that's everything. You've successfully changed your passenger side axle in your 98 Nissan Sentra 1.6 GXZ. So it's as easy as that, guys. Now all we got to do is throw the tire on, and we're out of here. Alright, so now we're just going to put our tire back on. Guys, so hope you enjoyed this week's video of the passenger front axle on a 98 Sentra. You know, these videos do take us a while to make, so you know, make sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe. We have weekly videos that come out every Friday. Check down below, we have a fan page on Facebook. You guys can go over there, check that out. We try to post what we can over there. So you know, stay tuned for next week's video.